I want to enable the creatives themselves, the private industry, to be able to do these things, to come up with these initiatives. And I believe this is how you can create diversity within an industry.
So you speak about enablement. Give us some examples of measures you've taken that you find actually allow that creativity to be unleashed.
So one particular example that comes to mind is a part of the Dubai Creative Economy Strategy that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Rashid launched in 2021. Part of that strategy was coming up with a creative zone where we ease the friction for creatives to set up creative entities, to do their business, to operate, to produce. And that became the El Go's Creative Zone. One of the challenges we faced was, and again, we understood all this because as a government entity, we chose to sit with the creatives, to listen to them, to listen to their challenges, the opportunities they want. And a lot of the times these creatives have the answers to their challenges. All we have to do is listen. We took away all the information from these meetings and these workshops, these majlises, and formed strategies on how we can help them operate. So within this zone, we took many measures, including we changed the land use within the zone, which was initially it was an industrial area. We made sure we keep a cap on rent so that we can create living and working spaces for artists. We created incentives for them, creative funding options for them to set up, and we're planning to create a one-stop shop to handle their operational needs, financing needs, legal issues. One thing I want to say is the team worked so hard to allow creatives to now gain a license in under 7 minutes from the Invest in Dubai app.
In under 7 minutes?
In under 7 minutes.
How is that possible?
I mean, hard work. And having really good teams working for the sole vision of helping these creatives.
So, Your Highness, I apologize because I interrupted you. You were speaking about the different elements. So land use on one hand,
yes.
Then thinking about the time it takes. So that holistic approach, it's part of this idea. Dubai wants to see its vision as a city that leads in innovation, but also as a leading global hub for cities in the creative sector. But part of that is about community building, and you spoke about inclusivity, you spoke about listening to others. So tell us more how government can foster that inclusivity and bringing in different voices.
So again, we're lucky in Dubai to have around 200 nationalities live and work here. So when we think about launching an initiative or launching a program, we try our best to involve everyone within the industry we're operating in. One thing that I believe makes it very easy for us to do what we do is you have a vision that is from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, which is to make Dubai a global center for culture, just like it's a global center for business. So with this alone, you can see the importance of culture within this city and the importance our leadership gives to the cultural industry. So you have the top-down vision, but then every strategy we work on, we initially sit with the creatives, we sit with the people involved, we sit with the stakeholders, the private sector, other entities within the public sector, and they feed us the information that they have, the things that they want to see happen. And luckily, it's very easy for us to go back to our leadership and say, this is what we need for the industry, and suggest changing legislation, to make it easier for them to set up.
Ease of doing business is a big motto
Yes.
of Dubai and the UAE. But there's always striking that balance from government supporting and fostering
Right.
and making sure not to stifle. So how do you make a decision of when do you need to step in and when do you need to step out?
So again, like I mentioned, I see our role as enablers, as catalysts, and as an entity that's here to support the industry. And not an entity that is here to create an industry. As much as we can, we seek public-private partnerships to help us with our strategies. We want to see the creatives themselves, creative entities, be a part of fulfilling the strategy and not having it relegated solely onto the government.
Now, your work in the private sector was really at Dubai Culture and Art Authority from 2008, and you've had different moments in this authority, but you became the chairperson just a few months before COVID-19.
Yes.
And, one of the strengths of creative industries and culture is the lived-in experience. So I can imagine when you became chairperson, you had many great plans, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God had different plans for us. So tell me how you navigated through that, because you also spoke of your team, and I know how much you hold your team close to your heart. How did you react to that COVID-19 moment and also adapt your strategy?
So luckily, we live in Dubai, and our leadership focused from decades ago on building the infrastructure in different industries. So when COVID-19 hit and they announced the lockdown, it was 6 months after I assumed my duties. We thankfully switched to online work very fast within a week. We then looked at the industry, and basically everything changed overnight. So our main concern was how the creatives are doing, how the creative entities are doing, how we can help them. And the first things we did is create workshops online, meetings online. The team had several workshops with the industry, and a lot of reports came out of it that actually helped us pivot our strategy. And I think the most important thing is
to beyond the big ticket item of the economy to then have standardized data sets. It's different from if you say, how many hospital beds do we have, or how many schools do we have, to try to capture the numbers. Okay, so that's a call to action. Get standardizing of data sets, everybody, when it comes to the cultural section. And data is an important point when we think about technology, of course. So much has been said about generative AI. It's going to change the creative industries. How do you see this convergence between creative industries and technological innovations, especially, of course, AI, but not limited to it, in impacting social development or even your work through, of course, the Dubai Culture and Arts Authority?
So I always get excited at the thought of bringing technology into the cultural industry, and I think historically that's been a point of great debate. But after COVID and the pandemic, we've seen more how technology can benefit humanity, benefit society, and I believe creatives are now more open to see how technology can help them within the industry. I'm only very optimistic when it comes to technology. In my opinion, especially AI, it reduces the time to produce creative outputs. We see now people creating movies with AI. It's helpful in so many different subsectors within the industry, and as long as we have ethical considerations for using technology and especially AI, I think it will only benefit the industry.
So putting together the creativity element, but also the efficiencies it creates, it's interesting you raise the ethical point, because I think often people don't understand how that can translate when it comes to creatives. How would you see that? How do you see that point?
I personally don't know how technology works.
Neither do I.
I'm sure a lot of creatives are on the same boat as I am. There is a huge debate worldwide about the use of AI, and I don't believe we need to be as fearful of it as we're told to be. I think we need to proceed with caution, but also be brave enough to start integrating technology with art. And a huge part of the creative industries now is digital art. So yes, I mean, when I understand the technology better, I can probably answer this question better.
I think that's a great answer, because you said the idea of not being fearful. And I think that's really the strength of culture, is that if you spoke about bridge building, not being fearful, being open to what it can bring, but proceed with caution. So that's
still proceed.
Yeah. Proceed with caution, but still proceed. That's a good nugget to go. Where unfortunately, they don't have enough time to go into everything. So my final question to you is this point about building bridges and the international collaboration that we can have through the creative industries. How do you see it? And if you were to give one piece of advice to those in the room with us, but also watching us, one piece of advice in order to build bridges when it comes to the creative industry, what would you say to them?
From where I stand, be proud of who you are, be proud of your culture, your history, your roots, and try your best to highlight that to the world, because the world is beautiful because of our diversity. If everybody spoke the same, wore the same clothes, ate the same food, I think it's going to be a very boring world we live in. So be proud of who you are and your culture.
That's beautiful. On that very inspiring note, thank you so much, Your Highness, for your time. And thank you to the viewers here. Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you.